Namaste. As Harinder ji had mentioned, Swamini ji is traveling, and we had Swamini ji and I had gone over what to do with the Sanskritam class, either to not have the class at all or to do only the Sunday classes, or because I was able to be here on Saturday mornings. Some Saturday mornings I'm not able to be here, but this month I am able to be here. So we decided that we will do a revision of all the material that we have learned so far. And that is the objective that we have. So we will get started, and we will start the format. Everything will be the same as it would be when Swamini ji is here. So let me put up the Prarthana mantra. I actually modified the Prarthana mantra PDF to color code the Hrasva, the short and the long, and the Mahaprana to help visually to add to the recognition of the sounds, but I didn't generate a PDF. So I will have that for tomorrow. So for today, we will use the same document that we've been using recently. And please, one after the other, you may probably, if you put up your hand, you may surface to the top or something, and you could please take the Prarthana mantra one after the other. Please get started and try to pay attention to the Mahaprana and Dirgha, because the normal tendency is to make it short. Well, the normal tendency, there's no normal tendency. So try to read it as is. Please go ahead.
Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Jayet Sarva Vigno Bashantaye.
Can you please do that first word?
Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum.
So the Mahaprana is only in the dha. There is no Mahaprana in the ba. Okay. Shuklam Bharadharam.
Shuklam Bharadharam.
Samichina. The next one.
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sata.
Again, Saraswati Namastubhyam. It is Saraswati Namastubhyam. It is the Sambodhanam. It is. Okay. So all these shlokas have meaning, and in Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum, we are saying one may meditate upon Vishnu. And what kind of Vishnu? We described a few attributes of him and said one may meditate upon him for the quietening down of obstacles. And then here we are doing Sambodhanam. We are calling out to Saraswati, and we are telling her Namaha Tubhyam. So it is conversation with somebody or the other. Either we are giving a running commentary or we are talking to somebody. So Saraswati Namastubhyam. Okay. Next one.
Enakshara samam nayam adhigam maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha.
Your adhigamya, the ya was not heard. I don't know if others also could not hear. So whoever is reciting, you please take a second to become still, and then you may recite. That way the audio disturbances will not happen. Sahana Vavatu.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Samichinam, very nice. So you can all drive the class and see and determine what are all the things that we want to practice. What I was thinking is literally go from the beginning and review all the things that we have done day by day. And because it is an opportunity to revise, the pronunciation is the most important aspect of Sanskritam. Pronunciation is more than the bread and butter. Pronunciation is Sanskritam, because the tradition of Sanskritam has survived all along because of the oral tradition. It is only by listening to the Guru and repeating, remembering, and then over time, the student himself becomes a Guru and continues that tradition. So it is the Ucharanam, it is the sound that is the most important in Sanskritam. The script is something that came much later. And so the script is only to aid the language. So now that we have already learned a lot, the word for language is bhasha. Bhasha means language. And the word bhasha comes from the verb, kriyapadam, bhashate. Bhashate means speaks. So the word for language has come from the verb which says to speak. So it is very important to realize and understand that Sanskritam is not figure out your own way of articulating whatever is in the written form, but it is the actual sound, and the script is only to represent. The script is expected to be holding 100% loyalty, fidelity to the ucharanam, to the pronunciation. So that is why there is no spelling mistake in Sanskritam. Either you have the sound correct or you don't have the sound correct. And if you change, as we know, if you change it from vadataha alpaprana takaraha to vadataha mahaprana takaraha, it is not a spelling mistake, because it is just two different. In one case, it is third person dual, and in another case, it is second person dual. So like that, even the slightest change is very likely to cause a change in the meaning. And some of them, not all changes may have a different meaning, and not all different pronunciations may be recognized by us as having a meaning. For example, if instead of saying Shuklam Bharadharam, if we said Shuklam Bharadharam, what does it mean? sometimes it may have a meaning, sometimes it may not have a meaning, and sometimes it may have a meaning that the person who is saying or the person who is analyzing is not able to recognize. So just as in math, the number, we need to know the value of 1, we need to know the value of 2, we need to know the value of 3 before we can do addition and subtraction. Similarly, in Sanskritam, the pronunciation is very important. And so we have the swaraha and the vyanjanani. Swaraha is that word, well, which I don't have confidence in pronouncing. So they are the short and the long. So a, I, E. So they are supposed to be one matra long, 1 beat long for a, and 2 beats long for a. But it is not just the beat, correct? If it's not a, and then it's not it is, if you, this is something I think we all have to analyze for ourselves. And it is within our capability. We don't have to go to a university to be told what the difference is between the a and the a. We are able to say it. We are able to analyze what is going on there. So I'm assuming that for the a, the opening of the mouth is small, and for the a, the opening of the mouth is longer, is bigger. So not only is it the duration, but also the way in which that sound is made. And something similar would apply for I, E, U, U. And it's a good idea to stand in front of the mirror. I know if you do Vedanta, you should not have a big ego. You should not spend time in front of the mirror. But leave that aside. But with respect to the pronunciation, what is happening in your mouth? What is happening when you make these sounds? These are all very good aspects to analyze. Okay, so we have the swaraha, the short and the long, the hrasva and the dirgha, and some of them have the 2 variations, and some of them do not have a variation. A, I, O, Au, they exist only in the long form. In Sanskritam, as we get through Panini. Then we have the consonants, and the consonants are organized based on the place of articulation or the part of the mouth that is used to pronounce the sound. So we have the kanthavyaha, the gutturals, which are ka, and to pronounce the 5 sounds, we don't, you may, once you get used to doing it, you can even do it without the jaws moving, as I'll do it now. Ka, kh, ga, gh, ng. As you can see, my jaws did not move because there is no, nothing needed. The tongue is not needed. The jaw movement is not required. The activity happens only at the base of the throat. That is for the gutturals. And what is the difference between these 5 sounds? Ka is alpa prana. There is only, in English, we say non-aspirated. In Sanskritam, we say alpa prana. It takes only a little breath. Then kha, mahaprana. It takes a lot of breath. So ka, kha, ga, gha. So the ka and the kha are hard consonants. The ga and the gha are soft consonants. So what is the difference between a hard consonant and a soft consonant? Hard consonant is like how you would walk on a polished floor. When you walk on a polished floor, you first put your foot on the ground And after you have gained the grip, you transfer the weight to that foot. Similarly, when you say ka, the tongue is, or here the base of the throat, it is making the contact first. After the contact is made, then you give the voice. Ka. Then for the Mahaprana, it is the same thing, except that you expel breath along with making the sound. Ka, ka. So contact and then sound, contact and then sound with breath. So it's not like you say the sound ka and then push the air out later. It is both of them. They have to jostle for space and come out at the same time when you do the Mahaprana. So ka, kha, ga. So the ga is the soft consonant. It is like walking on a carpeted floor. When you walk on a carpeted floor, you put your foot on the ground and you have confidence, and so you transfer the weight onto the foot as you step on the carpet. Similarly, when you say ga, the contact and the sound are both made at the same time. Ga, ga. Then the fifth sound is the nasal sound. Anunasika. Nasika is the nose. Anunasika is that, anu means follow. So here you're making the sound and you're following it up with the nose, with the nasal sound. And how do you pronounce that? It is nga. It is the same. It is a soft consonant. So it is the ga sound, but along with the nasal sound. And I saw one Acharya explain how to pronounce it for people who are not used to pronouncing it. What you do, close your nose like as though you have a really stuffed up, you have a severe cold and you're not able to speak. You're not even able to breathe through your nose. In such a situation, when you do ga, the ga will not come out as a ga, but it will come out nasally, and that is the nga. And when you are, when you have a stuffed up nose, you will say, "I'm going home." That is the nga sound. So the five sounds are first two. Okay, we start counting from here. So the first two are hard consonants, non-aspirated, aspirated. Then soft consonants, non-aspirated and aspirated. And then nasal. So these are the five variations of that same sound, or the same way in which the sound is produced at the base of the throat. Then the next set is palatals. So what is a palate? That to me, the palate, to me, when I say the cha, cha, ja, jha, nya, to me, the contact is made at the gums behind the teeth. That is the palate for me. But I think anatomically, it is probably the place between the throat and the top of the mouth. So maybe the air gets echoed through the back of the, through the palate, and hence it is called palatals. I don't know. But as far as I am able to feel within my mouth, I feel my tongue touching the gums behind the teeth. So cha. The rules are all the same. The first two are hard consonants. Cha, cha. Then the next two are soft consonants. Ja, ja. And the nasal. Say the ja with a closed nose. Yeah. Then so these are palatals in English and taluvyaha in Sanskritam. Talu is the palate. Then the third set is cerebrals. They use the roof of the mouth, and in Sanskritam they are called murdhanyaha. So the tongue, you lift up, you open your mouth, and the tongue is holding, like when you open the hood of your car, there is one metal rod that holds the hood up in place. Like that, your tongue is holding the roof of the mouth up. It is making contact with the roof of the mouth, and the mouth has to be open. The, the, na. And here, if you see, if this is the tongue is folding, it is folding backwards, and the bottom of the tongue, the tip of the bottom of the tongue is touching the roof of the mouth. So it is wrapping around, and the bottom of the tongue is touching the roof of the mouth. Ta, tha, da, da, na. Then these are cerebrals or murdhanyaha. Then the next set is dentals. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. You're using the teeth to pronounce, and the rules are all the same. Soft consonants, hard consonants, aspirated, non-aspirated, and starting from this na, it is easy to pronounce without having to stuff up your nose. So na, it is easy to make the easy enough to make the noise based on how we hear it. So ta, tha, da, dha, na. Dentals, dantavyaha. Then the last set is labials, using the lips. Pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. All the rules are the same, or the same logic as for the, so these, as for the varga. So these 5 sets of sounds are based on, they are grouped based on, they have a similarity, and they have a pattern across the row, and they have a pattern down the column, right? So if you make it as a 5x5 matrix, all the first column will be karkasha vyanjanani, hard consonants, and alpaprana. Second column will be karkasha mahaprana. The third column will be soft consonants, mridu vyanjanam alpaprana, then mridu vyanjanam mahaprana, and the fifth column is the anunasikas. Then you have 8 miscellaneous sounds. These miscellaneous sounds, even though they are miscellaneous, they have some similarity between each other, and they have a similarity with the other consonants. So the first set of the miscellaneous sounds is ya, ra, la, va. And if you see what happens in your mouth, ya is like cha. You're using the gums behind the teeth. Ya. Then ra, 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 ra is like the cerebrals. It is touching the, it is like ta, tha, da, dha, na, ra. It is touching the roof of the mouth. Then la, like ta, tha, da, dha, na, la. It is touching the teeth. Then va. Va is in between. it is using the lower lip and the upper teeth. So I refer to it as the beaver. So the Sanskritam is va, we don't have the va. We don't have the W sound of English. And if anybody pronounces the W sound of English in the va, it is because of the influence. It is by Sanskritam, it is only va, sadhu. And that is the reason why, as Swaminiji has explained many times, that is the reason why I have a problem pronouncing the V-O-W-E-L, because it has the V and it has the W. And maybe that's the reason why I might be caught saying window. Window, it's not window, but it's window, right? Because window is a W. But I might end up saying window because I'm more used to saying the V sound. So, right. So that is V is a combination of the lower lip and the upper teeth. So we have ya, ra, la, va. Then we have the next set of sounds, sha. So these ya, ra, la, va, I think in English are called semi-vowels. And then in the next set is sha, sha, sa, ha. And the way the sha, sha, sa, ha flow, the sha is Shankara sha. It is like the cha. You use the gums behind the teeth. Sha. Then sha is like the ta. You use the roof of the mouth. Shanmukha sha. Shankara sha, Shanmukha sha. Then sa. Sa is like Saraswati sa. So Shankara sha like cha, gums behind the teeth. Sha, Shanmukha sha, roof of the mouth. And sa, Saraswati sa, at the teeth. Sha, sha, sa, ha. Ha is just expelling of breath, but from a closed mouth. So what is the difference between a visargaha and a hakaraha? The only difference is what is before that sound. In the case of the visargaha, what is before that sound is a swaraha. You already opened your mouth to say a, so it became aha. You've opened your mouth to say I, and so it is ihi. You're just expelling breath on an already open mouth. But the consonant ha, you start from a closed mouth. Ha. So that is the almost the only difference between the visargaha, aspiration, not aspiration. What do you call the visargaha in English? Okay, whatever it is called, the two dots.
I think we call it visarga.
Okay, great. So that the difference between that visargaha and the hakaraha is the shape of the mouth before the sound is made. Sadhu. So the two sounds that I have not mentioned are the anuswaraha and the visargaha. So the visargaha is the expelling of breath on. So the mahaprana with consonants is the sound and the breath expelled at the same time. But the visargaha after a swaraha is you expel the breath after you have opened the mouth and made the sound. So when you say a, you have opened the mouth and made the sound, and then you expel the breath, which is the visargaha. Aha. But when you expel the breath along with the consonant, then it becomes a mahaprana consonant. Kha. And then you expel breath on a from a closed mouth position, then it is the consonant ha. Sadhu. So this is the visargaha. Then the anuswaraha is actually the the anuswaraha is the nasal follow-up or the nasal addition to the swaraha that has been made. What we saw with respect to nga, nya, na, na, ma, they are the nasal on the consonant. The nasal on the swaraha, it is actually i, u. It is the nasal sound on a swaraha, which is the anuswaraha on top, which is the dot on top. And that is why when you see the word Sanskritam, the English form of the word became Sanskrit. They use the N pronunciation, but it is neither the N nor the M. It is a nasal, it is just Sanskritam. Okay. And this anuswaraha can work with all the swaraha, from starting from a, I, all the way up to I, au. So all of them can have either the anuswaraha added to it, following it, or the visargaha. Okay, I have spoken for a long time. So you all may please pitch in. You want to say the sounds, you want to say words which contain the sounds, you want to say something, please go ahead. So you can look at the words. Since I have the Prarthana mantra here already open, I will just share that same Prarthana mantra. And we can see so we have shu. So what is this shu? It is a gunitaksharam. It is a combination of a pure consonant and a swaraha. So using the Devanagari script, there is if you use the Roman script, you have a distinct symbol for a consonant, you have a distinct symbol for a swaraha. And for this sound, which is shu, which is a combination of the consonant sh and the u, all you do is you put the sh or the s with the diacritic mark and the u together. You put it as two sounds, s, u, or sh standing for the sh and the u. You just put them together and you have your sound. But in the Devanagari script, you have the symbol for the consonant sh itself modifying to determine what sound, what swaraha follows it. So this shu is a modification of the sh sound with the u swaraha. So shu. Then we have the next sound, kla. In this case, it is a conjunct consonant. And this conjunct consonant is made up of, it is called a samyuktaksharam in Sanskritam. So it is made up of the k, the pure consonant k, followed by the pure consonant l, and a swaraha a after it. And in Devanagari, the l and the a together get to be written in one shape, which is the la. The extra line indicates the a, and the k gets truncated and attached to the la. So in the written format, it becomes one conjunct consonant, one samyuktaksharam, kla, shukla. Similarly, yes?
Vita, may I ask a question?
Yes.
You pronounce the ka at the gut, it's the guttural, you say k, and then you put the tongue in front for the la, you make kla. So
Yes.
you put your tongue all the way to the tongue.
Yes. Yeah.
This was all I wanted to know, whether you make this guttural k, like kla,
Yes.
kla. Yeah.
How would you say it otherwise?
I was just wondering, you make this, or you make this k and more in the front and not in the gutter. You make kla, or you make kla.
The only place the k can happen is at the throat. You can't make a k near the front. So when we are pronouncing, if you are able to pronounce the sound kla, then you have been making the sound. So it's not the tip of the tongue that is going to the base of the throat. It is just the base of the throat, the tongue at the base of the throat, which is making contact. And so it is just to say the k, you made a contact at the base, and then la, your tip of the tongue is touching the teeth. So it is almost effortless, even though the way you described it, it did sound like it had to travel, to make the sound. You started from the base of the throat, and then you came all the way to the tip of to the end of the mouth, to the teeth. You're right. It is, you started from the base and you came to the front, but all of it happens without much time or effort spent to make that transition from the k to the la, shukla. I didn't even realize that's a very good syllable to look at. It is at the base of the throat and the end of the tip of the tongue at the teeth. Okay, any other? Please say something, or meaning please go ahead and explore whatever we have discussed with the written form that you're seeing in front of you. And if any thought occurs, you may please say them.
So Vidyaji, I have a question on this Anuswaram. Swara, right?
Anuswaraha.
Swaraha. Okay, so the Ram, Vishnum. So we are actually saying Ra, and although you said nasal, it is like right? Like a
It should not be the m. It should be Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum. Because the lips are coming to pronounce the v, your lips are coming down, but it is Shuklam Baradharam Vishnu Shashivarna Chaturbhujam. Only in the Chaturbhujam the lips should touch. For the Dharam, Vishnum, Shashivarnam, the lips should not touch.
But that's how we normally do, right? So are we doing it wrong?
It is a learning process, right? First, we have to become aware of the fact that the pronunciation for the Anuswaraha is different from the pronunciation for the ma. When we become aware of that, then we are able to understand what the pronunciation ought to be.
Okay. And in some cases that Anuswara also makes the sound, maybe it's because of that, it makes the sound right instead of
It doesn't make any sound. We are the ones that are making the sound.
Yeah, okay.
And if we are making that sound, it is possible that we don't have that practice. So for example, my music teacher, one day as I was leaving my music class, she told me, I'm going to stop sharing the screen so I can see you all. So she told me, it is not Shankara Bharanam, it is Shankara Bharanam. She said this. And I was too petrified to ask her, what did you mean? I heard the same sound. I didn't ask her anything at all. This is about 30, 40 years ago. And only after I started learning Sanskritam as an adult, only in the past 20 years or so, I understood she must have said something like, it is not Shankara Bharanam, it is Shankara Bharanam. At that time, I didn't even know what she said. To me, I thought that because my ear did not know what it was listening, what it was to hear, I didn't hear the difference between the sha and the sha. But today I can hear the difference between the sha and the sha.
Sure.
Even when we do Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum. So I can tell if even I myself, not just others, whether I'm saying Vishnum or am I saying Vishnum. And only if you say Vishnum, you can say Num. Otherwise, you'll end up saying Vishnum.
Yeah.
If you say Shankarasha, you will tend to say Na. If you say Shanmukhasha, you will be able to say Na. So there is also the
Okay.
I also observe your lips are different when you say the two
Oh, sure.
shs.
the Shanmukhasha, because I'm making the effort to make sure that my tongue is nowhere near the teeth, that it goes all the way up to the roof, because it's very easy to make the mistake if you're not careful, right? Darshanam is only Shankarasha, but we can be caught saying darshanam. Darshanam.
Vidyaji, I was wondering if in the light of this new awareness, if we could look at the Shuklam Baradaram and then pay attention to both shas and the anuswara in that mantra.
Sure. So you can you can all recite, and you pause, do only one word, do one word as it appears on the screen. Do one word, and others, please feel free to comment on whether you heard the person say the correct sound, or if you heard something differently. And as I've said before, if I say Shuklam Baradharam, or even if I said Shuklam Baradharam, a person who may not hear, who doesn't have a good hearing, may hear my correct pronunciation wrongly, or I may have made a wrong pronunciation. So the non-hearing of the right sound can be either on the part of the hearer, or it could be caused by the sound made by the person who is saying it. So please do not feel conscious, do not feel self-conscious. Please be brave enough to articulate a sound, and please be open to being critiqued for your pronunciation. Harinder ji.
Okay. Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam.
Can you do that Shashivarnam again?
Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam.
So I think you're spending a little longer on the R.
Yes. Okay. Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Prasannavadanam dhyayet sarva vigno. Okay, this one. Okay, sarva vigno pashantaye.
Can you do the prasanna dhyayet?
Okay, prasannavadanam dhyayet sarva vigno pashantaye.
Very good. So the dhyayet, the first time sounded like it had been done in a short, but the second time you did it, it was a long. So if you do the length of it, in the South Indian languages, we have the a. But in Sanskritam, we only have the A. So prasannavadanam dhyayet. So Kshamyatam. So it does take two matras. Et. So very nice. That was very good. Please, that was very nice. A good exercise and a good recognition of the, you give us feedback on your own pronunciation now with this new awareness, Harinderji.
I wasn't paying attention to long R's always, and then like the G here is has a Mahaprana, right? So those are things, and I have to think before I say the, but in time I start doing it without thinking. But while I practice, I have to think with these unfamiliar sounds.
And we don't want to be in a, we don't want, even I have to think constantly. If I'm saying Saraswati Namastubhyam, only if I'm thinking about it will I pronounce it correctly. If I say Saraswati Namastubhyam and then I'm thinking, oh, did I shut the door? Did I have my coffee? Oh, that coffee, that last taste of the coffee was very good. If I'm thinking like that, I know that my pronunciation would have slipped up. So we have to be thinking about what we are reciting.
Vidyaji, we have a small issue here in terms of, these are common prayers which we've been learning since when we've been children. So we've been taught in a particular fashion and perhaps we use the wrong prayer. Only now that you have explained, okay, we know all it would have been perhaps making the mistakes because it's been a practice of that variety for a number of years. We'll have to make a conscious effort to correct it as per what you have indicated.
So when I was in the computer, in the software world, when I think C++ language came onto the field, they said you have to unlearn anything that you had learned before. And it was a new word to me. How do you unlearn? And what you say is exactly what many of us face. As children, we don't pay attention, we don't register the pronunciation when we learn, and even our parents, oh, even if this child is able to say this much, it is good, and which is great, but if it doesn't get tweaked at a later point in time, then that damage will continue for a long time. And there are many prayers that, including Sri Rudram, I had learned when I was younger, but today I would rather chant it with the book in front of me so that I know, so that I can correct the pronunciation as I'm reciting. Why Sri Rudram? Even ordinary, any shloka, I would rather, because I've been teaching this now for quite some time, I can do it without looking. But otherwise, I would want Bhagavad Gita, I would, well, everything. I will need the book in front of me for me to be able to recite. But we should also be able to recite based on hearing. We should not, if we hear, we should be able to recite, repeat without needing the material in front of us.
Vidyaji, when you're making the material, will you also be putting up the swaras? You know, where is it lower, where it goes up higher? Will you be doing that like with Sahanavavatu?
Only for the Vedic mantras you have that.
Yeah, yeah. So in these prayers, in the Sahanavavatu, will you be doing that?
Ah, okay. That I won't be able to do it. I will cut and paste. because in the print font, I don't know how to get the marks.
Yeah.
So I will cut and paste from the
Today's class we had no in the morning.
yes.
He
So I will
given
cut
it.
and paste from there. I will put that here.
Yeah.
Correct. So it is good to probably the reason I say that I cannot recite Sahana Vavatu, because there are so many variations that I keep hearing. I don't even know which one is the right one. And therefore, I don't have the confidence to say it. But the way Mama had taught today, and having that notation in front, then I will keep
Very
that
helpful.
as the anchoring point, so that I can base my recitation on that. So it's not that I cannot, it's not that we cannot, well, it's not that I'm not hearing and repeating. I've heard so many variations that I don't know which one to repeat. So for that reason, the printed material will give me the confidence of having myself anchored.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Raja Ramji, you want to try one of the shlokas? So the other thing I would like to mention is when the shlokas are there, they are very, they are set to a meter and they have a flow. So there is no need to rush through any of them. Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. If we just pace ourselves and not rush, then you can have a greater confidence of it coming out right. Please go ahead.
Let me try that. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
So if you will indulge me, you are saying it like as though you are sitting in front of a coffee table and discussing something with some other person.
Yes.
What I mean by that is that I'm sorry, the intention was not to be critical, but I was trying to point out that you are doing still a rough work. That's what I meant. I didn't mean, so what I tried to say when I said coffee table and discussing with somebody, it is like a rough work. You still haven't done the fair copy of it.
Yes, it was not musical, it was sort of reading. I agree with you.
So I mean, it's not a musical aspect. There's not, you can just do Saraswati Namastubhyam. There are 8 aksharani. Saraswati Namastubhyam. Varade Kamarupini is also another 8 aksharani. Varade Kamarupini. Vidyarambham Karishyami, another 8. Vidyarambham Karishyami. Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada, another 8. Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. So the benefit of these verses is that even if somebody presents a brand new shloka to you that you have never encountered before, that you've never heard before, if you look at it and say it in a steady way, short with a short, the long with the long, if you do that, then you will not stumble.
Okay.
You will not be at a loss as to know how to pronounce it. You want to try again, Raja Ramji?
Let me try. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varate Kama Rupini Vidya Rambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. I don't think it's a great improvement. Sorry, I can make out myself.
No, good. I mean, it will come with practice. And as you
Okay.
said, when we, whatever we learned, it will just, we are not in control. It will just flow out of the mouth.
Okay.
So you have to, it is a conscious effort. And that once the awareness sets in, that
Yeah.
is all it matters. It will settle down gradually over time.
May I say something, Vidyaji? What I learned from you is when I start doing this, I always have in your mind how you, when I see you, how you open your mind, how you move your mouth and how you move your mouth, then I start to open my mouth more. and for this training the pronunciation, I mean, this is what you try to teach us, no? So pa, and I try to have the sound, see you how you do this in front of me, and then I open my mouth more to put more effort in. So I think this helps a lot. If you, I think this is what you want to say is we're not at the coffee table, but we need to use our tongues and mouths, and we train this a little, no? So yeah.
Right,
Sorry.
and you can stand in front of the mirror and you can catch yourself. Oh, I did not open my mouth enough to say the ah sound, or I did not pronounce the dirgha as a dirgha. So you will be able to see how it works, and you can also record yourself reciting it. And once you record yourself reciting it and listen, and when you listen to it, you compare to your existing knowledge, and you'll be able to see, oh, I did not, this one came out very well, or that time I did not do the Mahaprana, and so on. Anybody else wants to try anything?
I want to try Saraswati. Namaste.
Okay.
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami.
Vidya is Alpa Prana. Even though it kind of looks like as though it is the dha, it is not a dha, it is a Alpa Prana dha with the ya.
Okay. Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Your Siddhir had a Mahaprana. The Bhavatu could take a little more Mahaprana.
Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Da is again Alpa Prana.
Da. Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Thank you.
Correct. Very nice.
You can try the last one if that's okay.
Okay.
Yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha.
Very nice. So the yes.
So, for example, Namastubhyam, when you say Namastubhyam, that Anuswara, not Anuswara,
Anuswaraha.
No, the at the end.
Which is an Anuswaraha.
Sorry, yes, Anuswara. that one, we always tend to say Namastubhyam.
So because you are taking a break between the Namastubhyam and Varade, it is okay for it to be a
Okay.
But if you were to say it continuously, Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade, again, in the case of Varade, Va, you are coming to the lips to pronounce the Va. So it is, and the Ma, in the case of the Varade, it actually can be pronounced as a Ma.
Okay.
In the case of Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum, that Vishnum Shashivarnam, if you were to do it as Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Yes. So in that Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam, it should be an Anuswaraha, or it can be stretched to become a Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. It can become a Nya. Ta,
No.
cha, cha, ja, ja, nya.
Okay. Got you.
And Sharmila ji, you did very well. You paced yourself and you said very correct, very nicely. I think that the Panina ye could have been a little longer, only the ye. But other than that, you paced yourself. You said very carefully. That was wonderful.
Okay, thank you. So going back to that other Shashi Varnan Chaturbhujam, right? So normally right now we are used to saying Shashi Varnam, correct? And then you are saying it could have been like Cha near that Nga and Cha.
Right.
Or so does that mean that Anuswara is having the sound of basically, right? So
no, the Anuswaraha has the sound of the Shashi Varna. No. That is what is that Anuswaraha. But you can, there is another Sandhi rule by which that Anuswaraha can become a Nya.
okay,
In which
that
case
is
you can write it there like that. You can write instead of an Anuswaraha, you can write a Pancha Nya. You can do that.
That is where one of the confusion was for me, like Panchadashi or Panchami. It's written differently, but both
No,
sounds we have.
Panchadashi. In Sanskritam, there is only one way to write it. It is only with the cha, cha, ja, ja, nya.
So we write
Panchadashi.
Panchadashi.
Because
Okay.
it is inside a word. In this
Okay,
case, it is between two words. In the case of Pancha, it is a single word.
Okay, so wherever we are doing the Panchami, that Pancha, the way we are doing, we can also write it as with the Anuswara, is it? Like
You cannot. You cannot write it. Panchami is also one word.
Okay.
So you can't write.
So in this case, how is it that we are saying Shashi Varnam Chaturbhujam?
Because it is two different words. Shashi Varnam is one word, Chaturbhujam is one word, and therefore it can optionally become.
Okay.
So before we close, anybody wants to have a, instead of a hand, does anybody want to have a tongue at it?
Vidyaji, before we close, also I want to have a clarification with recording. So you started recording. Is this recording on your computer?
No, I did the recording on the cloud.
Okay, so can you email me the recording after you download it? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we can put it on YouTube. Thank you.
Okay. It's not streaming?
No, that's why we have been having trouble with streaming a little bit. That's why if you can download and send me the recording with the title for this class.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
You have access to the Zoom because you have to log into the Zoom
okay,
account.
well, then we'll figure it out later then. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Vidyaji, I want to tell you, I have tears in my eyes because this is so precious teaching you always give. And again, I get so much out of this. I want to thank you so much for this. Really, I appreciate a lot. Thank you so much.
I echo that.
Yes, amazing how nicely you teach. Very good.
And there is, it is close to us. Because it is close to us, we get emotional, but at the same time, there is no need to keep it at a distance. There is no need to fear that we may not say it correctly. Only, again, as my music teacher says, only when we open our mouth and articulate is there even any material to critique. If we don't, he had a tough time trying to get me to make the sound. He'll say, open your mouth and make the sound. Only then I can tell you if it is correct or wrong. So like that, only when we practice, only when we open our mouth and do this practice, will we even be able to know if we are right or wrong, if our understanding is correct, and so on. So that involvement is required.
Please do put it on the YouTube so that we can go and watch this over and over again. I mean,
Yes,
one class is not enough.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll continue this practice. We will practice the various things as we go, as we move on to tomorrow and beyond. Okay. Shanti Mantram, Harinder ji.
Okay. Hold on.
Sarve Bhavantu.
Yeah. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Vidya.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Vidya ji.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
So Vidya ji, I have one question if you can